It's talking about prices. When I started the first time, I came here and then you give me the price. I understood, you see the high quality, so it's very expensive. But deep inside, I was thinking, that's insane. It's insane. And now I'm like, yeah, it's okay, it's fine.
thoroughly corrupted.
If you've been watching my channel for some time, you may remember that I invited round a couple of non-audiophile friends from my Aikido club to listen to some of the high-end headphones I have here. Now, the video of Jeremy and Stephane giving their impressions of high-end headphones, having never tried them before, was extremely popular. However, sadly, Jeremy has gone back to France, so I can no longer invite him around. Yet, Stephane is still here, so I invited him around again to have another listen, this time to some of the new models such as the Audeze LCD-5s, Dan Clark Audio Stealths, and Meze Elite. Now, Stephane ended up buying my Meze Empyreans and a Luxman stack to listen to them with, and he also has a pair of KEF LS50s. Good choice there. So he has a little bit of a system, and he now has become somewhat of an audiophile. But this time round, he wanted to check out the new headphones. He also had a listen to the new Meze Liric portable headphones with a couple of dongle DACs, the Cayin RU6 and Luxury&Precision W2. Now, he got to try out the headphones on Audio GD's R27HE, which came in only a few days before he came around. But he also had a listen to both the Stealth and LCD5s out of the Cayin N8 Mark II and the FiiO M17 plugged into a DC power supply. A couple of quick things about the video. I managed to set up better microphones so that you can both hear what we're saying clearly, but I did have a bit of a sniffle because I have a bit of hay fever, so excuse that throughout the video. Now, I did cut out the 40 or so minutes of the 2-hour session, which were just him sitting there listening. So what's left is a mixture of him giving impressions, us chatting about various things, which covers some of the middle of the video, and then him giving impressions, switching back mostly the LCD5s and the Stealth and Elite with different gear and with different types of music. So anyway, here's Stephane.
Pretty sure I must be connected to your network.
I think you were connected to it last time, I remember.
Can I try the Meze?
Go for it.
Strange, no? I have a thing for Meze now.
That is not a surprise.
That's I really enjoy the Empyrean. It's really nice. It's really so good.
Especially with the upgraded cable too.
Yeah, well, I can tell you about the upgraded cable. It's very well defined. It's very. I'm listening to some French song now. It's very very nice. It's funny because the close back, you can feel the difference with the And now I'm used to the Empyrean open.
Yep.
And when you put on the close, you have to close back headphone. You have to get used to the sounds. It's a little bit different, I think. It's a little bit different.
Making them staying sounding open is a challenge.
It's something I like actually about watching all the reviews of gear is when they say, so I tested with this and this music. And many times, so, you see the gear review, it's fun, but then you see the music and I search for the music and I like it, I don't like it. But I really like when people who test, who do some gear review, they explain which music they have been using, because that's a really nice way to find good things. Some people say, it's about bass and
I went overkill on the HD820 review on that. Like it was a bit crappy. I was reading off the screen kind of thing off my notes.
Right?
And but people said no, they like the review. It's like I want to put snippets in there.
Very good CD.
I want to put snippets in the reviews, but they're all now the YouTube thing. Even though it's like legitimate, you can sample. Legitimately, you can sample up to about 1/10 of a work for for
fair use.
Fair use.
Yeah.
But even I used to put in 10-second snippets, and now it's no good. It just it just demonetizes the video.
Okay.
So I can't do that. So I'm actually
but they just talk about
Yep.
the music, just show the album. Say, I use this and
Yeah, I'm going to ask some small publishers if I can use their samples, and I say, look, I'm happy to. If you let me sample this stuff on my videos, I'm happy to put it in the video as my example music, and then I think they'll be cool with that. I'm sure, because it benefits everyone. I like that.
Yeah, I think YouTube is overcautious now about using even just 3 notes of something and
yeah, it used to be. Some of my old videos were okay, but some of the newer ones are really.
I guess again.
They also watermark a lot of stuff too.
So I have no idea if it's the DAC or the headphone. I find it a little bit less warm than the compared to the Empyrean. So
it's the headphones.
Yeah, the headphones. Yeah, it's much more. I wouldn't say dry. That's a little bit mean, but not in a mean way. But it's much drier. It doesn't have this juicy thing that I'm used to it now. So
yeah, I think you'll find some of the like if I haven't listened to the Empyreans for a while because it will colour my impressions of the others.
Okay.
For that same reason.
But yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Actually, I was looking for eventually some close back headphones because I want to be able to listen like I like to fall asleep with music. And I cannot use the Empyrean because it's like Minako is going to, you have the sound.
You're gonna be pissed off. Yeah,
you should be pissed off. I found that I can put down the headphones, just crank up a little bit the volume and listen to radio just like that. It's so loud, but there's so much like leakage, you said, and. So I was looking for some some.
Yeah, they don't leak much. The only thing I wish they did is fold. If they had made a good fold, if they designed a foldable foldable hinge. Can't speak this morning either. Can't do anything right. Then it would have been excellent.
Coffee was right. You did the coffee right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On a good day with the wind blowing in the right direction, I do good coffee.
That's pretty cool. And can I try another song? Just
quickly? Go for it. I can try the other dongle as well if you want to compare.
To get the impression of it. But actually, it's amazing. I mean, it's light. I mean, just to.
They took a win a lot. Delivery. Oh, you keep going.
You know what? I can get used to it. It's actually it's really nice. It's really clean. It's lacks a little bit of these worms, but otherwise it's really pleasurable.
Yeah, they were a bit harsh when I first got them, a bit harsh sounding. But actually, once I played them for a few hours, I was like, actually, I was using them with the LNP.
And
you can compare them if you want to just plug and play. And I actually just I plugged into the computer, and I just liked sitting there listening with them. Maybe stuff on YouTube. But I liked it. And ironically, I've got a delivery related to audio.
But there's a volume control on this one?
Yes, so the long button is the volume control, up and down.
Okay.
I don't know what loudness it's at.
I wonder if I don't know if I can hear really the difference, but the it's just like it's slower. I don't know how to explain that.
Is the music actually slower? Because it could have been the bit perfect error. Is it actually like the music slowed down?
Yeah, just like it's not.
It's
not slower, but probably it's the impression I have. It's not. It might not be actually slower, but.
It doesn't sound like it's...
No.
Like, if you notice, like, the pitch has distinctly changed. No. Okay, that would mean that sometimes you get sometimes gear will error, and then it sends it out at the wrong sample rate, and then you notice there's a different pitch change.
No, it's not... It's more like... I don't know. I don't know how to say that. Less dynamic? Less maybe it's exactly the same, and it's really
nice
maybe it's
music.
just my brain.
No, but that's it's a Cirrus Logic, like phone kind of DAC.
Attends, bouge pas, je vais essayer. I try again. We're doing live testing.
Yep,
It's not really A to B, but almost.
close enough.
No, it's not about speed. It's more forward. This is more forward. It's a bit more forward. This is more recessed, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the speed is the same. But it's very. I mean, could live with both. I try something else.
Go for it.
Bouge pas. Sometimes just to see.
Direct.
Yeah, direct.
Indeed.
With the.
It probably has the same DAC in there.
It's really hard to see it really quickly like this, but I think it's more. There is definitely when you do plug it like this, you're really a step below the definition, the presence of the sound is really going down. I can listen to a song like this, of course, but once you compare with a real DAC, you just a little bit brighter. It's really different. It makes a big difference actually. But it feels like
I want to try that versus the LNP. So I'll try direct first, and then I'll do the LNP. I'll stick that where I can reach it. That'll be interesting. So I've still got to shoot the review of it, and I haven't got around to it. Yeah, it sounds like there's like with the Luxury&Precision, there's a bit more detail. Like you can hear the echo in the back. This is a really good track because how much echo you hear, you can hear how good the quality is. Still, what's in this phone is pretty good. Yeah. I mean, if I had a phone like this, I could live with just direct out of the phone. But yeah, and then of course they have the it's slightly less clear with this, but it's slightly more music. I say slightly more musical.
It's definitely more musical. Yeah, it's the echo and everything.
You find it with non-oversampling. The R27HE, you can switch between non-oversampling 2 times, 4 times, and 8 times. And you'll find that as you get towards non-oversampling, the vocals, it closes in. And the same thing with other DACs which have that feature, like AKM DACs did. As you switch towards non-oversampling, the sound starts to close in because you have less definition available.
And actually, the Samsung, it's Android. They're doing oversampling, 192. So many people hate this. I just use it like this because I don't use much I use Roon at home.
Yep.
But many people use a special app that is bit perfect and
UAPP,
something like
USB Audio Player Pro or something like that. Yep.
And
that's going to give you better results.
Yeah, probably.
Well, the nice thing about having these DACs, the M17 has spent a lot of time for testing these dongles because it's easier just to plug that in and go ahead. But it doesn't work with Roon, unfortunately. I don't know if the latest Roon works with it, but Roon didn't work with it. Really? I think because FiiO had some weird output thing to do. It was not bit perfect. No, it didn't work. Hold on. That didn't work at all. And then with the Cayin, it didn't come out bit perfect. It couldn't recognize because to get bit perfect output, they use modified Android. Now, FiiO does its own modifications. Cayin and HiBi do their own modifications. And so for some reason, like every Cobars is fine, Tidal is fine, Spotify's not an issue. Apple Music, I can't really confirm. Yeah. And it's just Roon. It's like Roon is like people have posted on the Roon forums like, why has Roon not? I mean, there are a lot of people using these DAPs. Why wouldn't you want to cater to this market and actually figure out how to use these, get bit perfect on these devices? And I don't know what's going on with them. So hopefully next time there's a Can Jam, I can meet them. Maybe Chicago or somewhere. I can go there and hassle them.
Yeah, it sounds strange. It sounds strange to buy something like this, and then you cannot use it with Roon because Roon now everybody wants to have Roon and the other.
But something like the M17, it's like an obvious candidate for Roon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a whole thing. You would want to use it with
I think Roon is a fairly small company though, so they're kind of limited. And I think they're working on stuff like classical music. The search. There was an issue that came up, which is really interesting. So someone posted when I search for such and such recording, I think it was old jazz things like Miles Davis and whatever, I only see 3 or 4 come up. Whereas if I go search directly on Tidal or Cobars, I see like 10 or 12 come up. And he said, really what's happening is most of them are because they're expired copyright, what people are doing are basically downloading it and then remaking their own version, which may be lower quality, and then submitting it and then getting royalties. So they're deliberately not showing certain music companies. Like if it's from like Warner or if it's one of the if it's the original recording company version, they will show it. But if they'll copy the original artwork, they'll copy everything, but it'll actually be not the original version. So you go into Cobars and you see how many versions of, say, Kind of Blue or something, like 6 or 7 different versions. Why would there be 6 or 7? Because a lot of them are just basically copies. And because it's expired copyright, anyone can upload their own version, submit their own version to the streaming service. So they're getting royalties off, dead artists and stuff like that. So Roon deliberately filters out the companies that are doing this to avoid, because you're going to get a lower quality result. Stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's
so
interesting.
you've got less result, but better quality result.
Yeah, they're only getting the original, like the high, the companies that submit that have high quality.
Sometimes actually, my issue with Roon is I listen to lots of classical music, but it's not only Roon actually. It's always when you search engine with classical music, it's really hard because first of all you symphony. You're looking for a symphony number 5. How do you write number 5? N05, N5. That counts.
Yes.
Do you write symphony in French because that's a French version of the CD and the title is in French, or do you write it in English and then so you've got different results? The name of the artist, or is it the name of the artist and the orchestra? Or you have so many options.
Yep.
And so a search engine like Google, but Google is Google, so it's super smart for these kind of things. But when you are on the Cobars or on Roon, and they're not as smart as we're used to, like a search engine like Google, and I don't want to blame them because I know it's really hard, but it's kind of frustrating sometimes. I want this. I know that CD exists. I want this version, but I have to find it looking by the composer, and I have all the list of the discography, and I have to find the CD there. Or it's
a huge pain in the ass because the normal search engine, like if you have, they will know to try for both, say, something with a dash in it or a dot in it, and not without the dash or the dot.
So
that kind of
dash
thing.
without the dash,
So,
or do you use the English, version of the name or the original?
They'll know to substitute like the accented versions of the letters and non-accented versions, and the accented versions used to break all these new DAPs when they came out. A lot of them were broken by accented stuff. It was really funny. Now it's all fixed.
As the French person, I feel sorry about the accent. Sorry, we're messing up.
It's all your fault.
It's all our fault.
As an English person, I can give you crap because you're French. You may have polluted our language with this crap, but at least we didn't have to take the accents with
us. Definitely.
We need to go backwards, not in reverse.
Yeah. But still, anyway, I really think I love Roon. It's such a clever system, and when I discovered, actually, the first time I discovered was here, and I really didn't understand. It's hard to. I think for many people who never tried it, it's hard to understand exactly what it does. This streaming thing, and once you try it for the first time, it's perfect. It's really what I was looking for.
Well, the same thing. I was in iTunes. I'm a strictly playlist person. I don't do albums. I just don't like whole. There's not, with few exceptions, I don't like whole albums, and I don't listen through whole albums.
Where I tend to stick to the albums.
Okay, you're an album person.
Yeah.
I'm a playlist person. I will have playlists which are so beyond eclectic. You've seen my stuff. It's just completely random sometimes. It's like one moment you'll have. You might have classical, and the next moment you'll have pop music or something.
That's my mainly stuff.
My playlists are so random, you know that. But I was always a playlist person, so going to Roon, it's like, I don't like this. And then once I got can I recognise my iTunes playlists? Okay, now we're getting going, and I started doing more and more playlists. So it's sort of,
It's probably a good thing that it doesn't allow tabs in the Roon, because I know it's a browser. I know it's Electron based. It's probably a good thing it doesn't allow tabs, but I wish it did, because I want to like hold. I wish there was I could have multiple instances where I could hold just one view of one thing and then have another tab to just one tab which is just the queue. Because if you go forward, then you can at least go back to where you were. So sometimes I'll go down a particular rabbit hole searching an artist or stuff like that. Then I can go back to the playlist by just clicking on back. Or if I'm rejigging playlists too and rechanging versions, because sometimes you go through a playlist on unavailable and then you have to find it again.
Yeah. Well, that did happen at the beginning when I was using it. Sometimes unavailable, and you have to search it again, put it back in your library.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen to me anymore. No, it's
not much. The only problem was when I was switching from Tidal to Qobuz. That meant I had to go through every single one of my playlists and then switch to the Qobuz versions. But you can import. Nice thing is they integrated slightly with Soundees. The one that you can, if you pay for it, you log into all your streaming services, or you can import like playlists from Roon, and it will, like, if you want, I want all my Apple Music playlists on Qobuz, it'll copy them over directly. So you can, and so I've done that. Exported some Roon playlists and imported them to Qobuz so I can use them in the car and then offline them and stuff. The problem with Roon is I really want a Roon that you can offline, but they won't do that. But if you want offline, you have to use a Qobuz or Tidal or whatever. But the only other thing that can do it, but it has to have physical music, not stream music, is Vox, which can do it with it'll upload your entire solid actual music library, much like Apple Music does. Apple Music just drives me nuts because well, Vox apparently does this, and I want to try it again. Is it will upload your entire library to its servers, and then you can put it on any of your devices. It'll sync to any of your devices, like actual sync. Problem with Apple Music is so I have this playlist I use for kids classes of kids music, right? So I have it. Okay, tap on, because I've now got the Apple Music sync thing going. I offlined it on Apple Music. Okay, a little bit like I'm in class. I tap this song I want to play. Waiting. Screw you, Apple. I know you're downloading it. I know it. I tapped on offline, you piece of crap. And wait, it's like, hold on, kids, would just be a second. Thankfully, 4G is fast. But it just really... the song's only like 1 minute, so it's like, it's an MP3, whatever. Yeah. But that really pissed me off. And then Apple, if you want to go back to... if you unsync it, what happened when you have all the music already on your phone? If you switch to the Apple Music sync thing, it deletes everything off your phone and starts again. And I didn't realise this at first, and then I was really, because I walked into the kids' class and none of my music was there. It's like, oh, what's happened to all my music? I didn't realise, you didn't tell me it was going to delete all the hard music on my phone. Oh, we have no music today. Sorry. I was really pissed off.
Well, I mean, I use only Qobuz, so it's pretty straightforward. But
I might actually, what I should do is probably set up, not because I'm using the phone with Apple Music, so that I can offline a lot of stuff there too. I'm deciding whether I'm going to keep the Apple Music offline or the Qobuz offline, because Apple Music has some stuff that I can't get on Qobuz.
Oh, that's the thing.
I'm actually going to start contacting the artists or the labels. That's the word I wanted, labeled.
Label?
When I was talking about classical music, some labels are just copying stuff and submitting. Copying classical and submitting. Label is the word I wanted. Some labels, some obscure labels, may have uploaded their stuff to Tidal, but they may not have heard of Qobuz because it's obscure, because the main ones are Apple Music...
Tidal? No?
No. Tidal's nothing.
Nothing, okay.
Apple Music, Spotify. My brain is not working at all. Not enough coffee yet. Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer is way, way, way bigger.
Which one's a French company? It's Deezer?
Qobuz.
No, but there's
Deezer.
another...
Hold on, where was Deezer from?
Deezer, I think it's French. Qobuz is French, definitely, but I think it's...
Deezer is Europe, but I can't remember where.
I think Deezer is French.
Because everyone's because apparently Deezer will eventually integrate with Roon. They've got to fix the API to make it more compatible with Roon. But that they said a couple of years ago, so I don't know what's happening. It could be... We don't know what's delaying that. I might have to see if I can find out. But they announced that the people from Deezer said, "Oh yeah, we're interested." I mean, they're obviously interested, but it may be to make a working API. It might not be on their priority list. But Deezer is like there's a graphic on some
Virtual Capitalist. If you want to see the most amazing site, Virtual Capitalist, it does graphics of everything. Follow it on Facebook. It's really cool. It comes up with like graphics of who are the biggest streaming companies in the world, and this huge circular graphic. It's amazing. If you want to get a visual of anything, they have amazing stuff. Okay. And anyway, I never knew Audeze was like
it's French.
massive.
But I checked it. It's French.
Yeah,
French.
It's massive compared to the others. So Tidal is like non-existent. It's like nothing. And they supposedly have millions of subscribers, but there's a debate that whether they actually have any at all. They had to frantically sell themselves off to Stripe, and suddenly they stopped saying that they stream lossless. It's all gone down the drain. Cobuzz is not much either.
No, it's a niche
tiny.
market. It's
yeah.
a little bit niche.
I mean,
but
it's
really good. It's been
DJ shows up amongst the top 20 or whatever. Cobuzz and Tidal don't exist. Every person out there say, "Have you heard of Tidal Music? What's that?"
Really?
That's like this whole lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do people buy? You know what the top brands are? Beats, Jabra.
Yeah, I know.
Beats, Jabra.
Even on Cobuzz, you look at what's the biggest sales or what's the... And you think, come on,
and Jabra.
Guys.
Nobody on HeadFi talks about Jabra. Like, nobody. It's Bose. The only people talk about it is, I have a pair of Bose and I want to get it. It's like the opposite. And it's like, we're just this obscure... You have $4,000 headphones? What the...
Well, it's talking about prices. When I started the first time, I came here and then you give me the price. I understood. You see the high quality, so it's very expensive. But deep inside, I was thinking that's insane. It's insane. And now I'm like, yeah, it's okay, it's fine.
thoroughly corrupted.
But the thing, I have the impression that if you are into good sound. With it's kind of crazy to say that, but when you start around the $500 mark, that's where you step into the really good stuff. So $500, you have a very nice pair of headphones. You can have a very decent DAC or amp or anything, but it seems to me like the $400-500 is pretty much, and for many people, if you say I bought this headphone $400, $500, they say you're insane. Mine is $25 or $100.
Apple have broken that with their AirPods or whatever. Apple have broken that.
Yeah. I'm not saying that under this it's crap, but it seems to me that the general market step into what you can call hi-fi, really high quality, is around at that price.
Well, it's interesting now because the the people say, the prices are going up. It's getting more and more insane. It's turning into bullcrap. And I say, no, it's not. It's actually cheaper. And they go, what? And I say, okay, let's take the Sony MDR R10 headphones, which were their flagship in 1989, when there was zero high-end headphone market, nothing. And the Qualias were $2,600 in 1989 is about, I think, and I could have this wrong because there's an inflation calculator I have to check, is over $5,000 now. 5,600 or something last I checked. So if you think about it in perspective, it's like then you start to realize, now, if you get a pair of MDR R10s and was it more than 5 years ago? Now when the LCD, most of the decade ago, when the Odyssey LCD-3s came out, I bought a pair. I went through a lot of Odyssey cans, actually, and had to return a lot of them, too, so I spent a lot on shipping. When they went through their driver hell, that Fick would say long ago fixed. Earlier on their drivers were flaky. Actually, I've got an original... I have one of the very first pairs of...
connectors.
You see, what happened, we were going to do this whole thing where we were going to do a review of these headphones without saying what they were. These are great grey. Grey do not exist.
Okay.
I'm one of the only people who owns the original LCD-X. This is an original, like first production original pair.
Okay.
And that they replaced the drivers for me, but the drivers lasted because I didn't use them super heavily.
And then it's like one died, and I have a pair of LCD XC originals with a grey band as well, and the wood cups, which you can't get. These are the new 2021 version. You can try these as well if you like.
Oh, yeah.
And they, I'll overdo the review. Yeah, this is the
what I
old
like,
one.
like-
This is the new. The
How
new one
is
is
it?
so much lighter.
It's like 500 grams or what?
100 something millimeter diaphragm too. Anyway, driver as well. But this is original pair. And the original drivers had problems, with reliability, but now they're fine. I mean, 2009 they were still working it out. So this is a super original pair, and they nice of them to replace the drivers. So, but I mean, nothing essentially has changed them, and the pads are new too.
Okay.
Essentially, other than I think the pads changed slightly, and the headband, of course, and the new ones.
And at the
like
time,
that.
how much was that?
Almost $1,700.
Okay.
In 10 years ago, so we were over 2,000 now, I don't know, 2,000.
But the thing now today, I mean, if you have a budget of, I don't know, $3,000, the choice from $1,000 to $3,000 in headphones or in any kind of gear is huge. It seems to be...
So talking about the original LCDXs, so we were originally going to do, we were going to be sent these before they were announced, and then review, we said, we have a new pair of headphones, we're going to review them. We're not going to tell you what they are until the announcement date. And we were just going to post reviews. It didn't end up happening for some reason. I don't remember why. But, I mean, in talking about MDR R10s, they'd be $5,600 now for new. I mean, they were sold for more than a decade. And so anyway, I got a pair of LCD LCD3s in 2000. What was that, 2000? That was when we started going to the show. So 2011 or 12 or something. I don't remember. It wasn't the first show we went to, but it was still in the old... building, but anyway, in Tokyo. And I remember because I got to borrow a pair, one of the two pairs that anyone had, and go around the show plugging it into everything. And I went to the manufacturer and said, check these out, which was very fun. And the original, and Jude still has them, I think. And so I bought a pair, and I took them to this meet in Tokyo. Now, one of the guys who was in our group used to work for Mozilla. And they had the coolest office, like it was in the news. Like they had this office where the entire floor was like...
Mozilla was still a thing?
Mozilla, yeah, was still a thing. Which sounds terrible. But, they're probably still there.
I'm using Firefox, it's fine.
Yeah, I use it for some stuff. But anyway, they had this cool... Like when there were people starting to modernize offices, this above the floor, they had this... Like floor above a floor, like they do in
like a glass thing? Or
no, not glass. Like they do in server.
Oh, for cables. Okay,
So
running cables and everything.
It was like sort of Anyway, they had and so they had cables. It was a really cool new style office, and we had this huge meet there. We had all this gear. I mean, I went through the airport security. I bought cables and everything and stuff with me. I went through airport security, and they said, sorry, sir, we're going to have to inspect your bag. Because I had that thick layer of just cables and crap and electronics and stuff. And it's like, no. And it's like, we're going to have to check what's in your bag, sorry. Because they couldn't see through it in the X-ray. It was madness. And I was one day trip. I went the earliest flight in the morning and came back on the last flight at night. And I took the LCD3s with me, and they had a pair of Sony MDR R10s there. And... I said, no, these LCD3s sound way better. And nowadays, if you listen to the MDR10s, they have a nice mid-range, granted that, but the bass is rubbish. It's rubbish compared to this. It's rubbish. I do not kid you. And this is stuff that people were, about 10 years ago, you wanted to buy a pair, it was $7,000 on eBay or something. Because they're unobtainium, and the glue on the pads would deteriorate, and drop onto the driver and destroy the driver. And Sony didn't have any spare drivers left. Sony did have, which I can say now, I can probably long enough ago that nobody's going to care, like at least half a dozen pairs spare, brand new, unopened. I doubt they would be functional because if they open them up, they probably found the glue had died and destroyed the drivers. Now,
this is some very Japanese, this kind of glue
Hi-Fi
thing.
Man. Yeah, Hi-Fi Man.
They don't do that.
Well, gluing on pads pisses people off, but it creates a perfect seal, which is so. These are glued, but the quality they're not going to run out for ages. They're not going to wear out for ages. But people don't like glued on pads. But it's to get the seal.
If you have to replace the pad, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but you're not. Nowadays the quality is good enough. It's going to last a long time. So thinking the MDR10. Now, interesting thing was Hi-Fi Man have done this something or other HD. Hi-Fi Man RE10 and they're like a closed back pair of Susvaras.
Okay.
And they have two versions, one with a regular driver, but it's got the same, they recreated the cups from the Sony because the patent is expired.
Okay.
And they did a plainer version as well. I haven't tried them, I want to try them. And they originally only sold them in China. And the weird thing is there was this massive outcry. How can you do that? How can you blatantly copy this? It's like, who cares? The patent is expired.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about these headphones anymore. And it's like, why not? I mean, if you want, who cares? And it's like, they feel like Sony has been insulted. It's like, they don't care.
so many people over, you know, when you love a brand or something, you just feel so bad.
Well, Hi-Fi Man has sold, $6,000. Now, granted, this is a Chinese price, $6,000 for the Susvaras.
Yeah, I have to try them one time. I never tried them.
Yeah, these are a bit worn out. Yeah. They've seen better days, but they're due for pad and headband replacement. But
I hear so much about them, you know. Every
you can
time,
try them out, the R27HE.
Yeah, we try them.
And so the thing is, they originally called I think they called them originally decided to call them the HE6 Mark II or something like that. And because the HE6s originally were like $1,200 and these are $6,000, everyone just went nuts. And it's like, no, this is China. Do you understand? In China, nobody pays that amount of money unless they're stupid rich and they want to flex. It's a flex thing. Look, I've got the latest gear. Or people. You ever had anyone like I used to help a guy in a flea market sell stuff, and you have Chinese people come up and they would they were horrible, and
it's a Chinese thing to negotiate everything.
Yeah, they negotiate everything, and they'd say, "No, I want discounts." Like, no, and I talked to second-hand car dealers who didn't like the way Chinese haggle either. This guy had funny story. This guy had a dog, and the dog came up to me and was friendly to me. But he said he didn't. It sounds terrible to say this, but he wouldn't come up to Chinese people. He would bark at them. But they did. I think it's the attitude thing. You know, they come up with this aggressive attitude. See, no one will pay $6,000 in China. They'll bargain it down to say $3,000 or something like that. And so it's got enough margin. This is as far as I know. Okay. So you can buy them for $4,500 or less, probably, if you know who to talk to. But it's not for this. Okay.
But so if you have a pair of Susvaras, you're very happy, and you pay $6,000 for them. You pay way too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't do it. But people who like plug them into stuff like this, or I plug them into the Master 10 speaker, holy cow, they sound fantastic. Yeah. It's not, I mean, you can argue, they're maybe technically imperfect in some ways, but holy cow, they make everything sound great. Especially,
that's what you want from
owners love them. Owners are fanatical about them. So after all the crap that, Fang Bian, the guy who runs Hi-Fi Man, got, he did make a fantastic pair of headphones. So I mean, like he pinched the headband design off stack somewhat, but I mean that's not a bad thing. It's a good headband design.
Susvara, but the brand that's not Hi-Fi Man.
That is Hi-Fi.
That's the
top of the line headphone.
Okay. So I'm getting confused.
I think for all the crap he got, and for all the the cultural nuances and all that kind of crap that you might complain about, he actually made a fantastic pair of headphones. And the problem is that the Chinese seem to value kind of handmade style more, so that there's a few rough edges around there, and it's kind of feels handmade. But Westerners value like machine-made perfect. So for a Westerner to see the slight imperfections, it looks terrible. Yeah. But for a Chinese person, it looks it's handmade.
Yeah,
but
it's fine. Yeah.
And for a Japanese person, handmade would mean it looks even better than machine-made.
Yes. No. For Japanese, that would be that's made with a bad machine.
I can't remember which way round it was, but it was something like they're talking about automotive manufacture. It was like comparing. It may have been Renault, but I can't remember. It was the French would do things with machines, and the things you couldn't do with machines they do by hand, and the Japanese would do things by hand, and the things you couldn't do by hand they do with machines, or something. It may have been reversed, but something like that. The cultural idea of how you deal with.
If you're doing a video about Japan, you definitely have to do things about Japanese arts craft.
I wish I knew where that quote came from. Yeah,
it's amazing when you're in Japan. When you live in Japan for a while, and so you have the chance to meet, people doing washi bows, for kyudo, something lots of kyudo, and you go into the place, it's a mess. It's all the tools look old, and they're sitting on the old tatami mat, and the end product is just mesmerizing. It's amazing. So it's all in their hands and their experience. And that's really nice when you see something like this. And when this is applied to industrial production, or I'm thinking about which one the one I love. from this Japanese maker, the
Specs? No.
No. Final.
Yep.
Final. The when you have the final headphone in your hand, I mean, you can see that it's a step above in production. I mean, yeah.
Well, they've just moved to a new building, I think. New factory.
And I really like them. And you know, I bought this little in-ear monitors, and it's just, I don't know why they have something more of you know, it's nice product. It's really nice. The way they're crafted, it's just better. Or Luxman, my beloved Luxman gear, I love it, and it just because it looks so good also. And
the overbuilt design.
Yeah, a little bit overbuilt.
I still want one of
overpriced
those.
Also.
A D750U, just because it's so nice to have. But
nice.
I can't justify it because that was coming in. So
there is a used one right now, a Mark II used one for sale on Audio Union.
Yep.
But it's still, you know, 300.
They'll be around for a long time.
I think so. But yeah, but you know, mine, the old one, since I bought it, I never found it again used. This and I wanted to buy another DAC, the DA06.
Well,
DAC,
the same thing with second-hand.
Just disappear from second-hand market.
Same thing, second-hand Chord gear. Yeah, I mean, you have Mojos show up, and sometimes Hugos and Q-Test, but Dave's just don't show up anywhere. You can't buy a second. You can, but you have to wait around to find a second-hand Dave. Just people do not sell it. Some people do. A few people do go. They'll go down the Chord route, and then they'll go completely opposite and go down a tube DAC route or a R2R DAC. So there's a big debate online.
That's the two things I want to try actually.
The Holo May and then the Chord Dave. Yeah. There's a big debate. Like there's this camp which is pure R2R, and there's this pure Chord, and they do not get on. It's actually a couple of people who are just really fanatical who get really argumentative, but
when I see people so fanatical that they not even they talk about how great what they love, what their gear is, and which is perfectly fine, but they're trying to put down to talk down your other gears, and that's really stupid. I mean. You love tubes. I mean, I would love to try tube amp, like for my speakers. You know, I've been looking around a little bit. Tube.
Well, the funny thing was, actually, this is a funny story. So, Shit Audio was making a tube pre. Well, they were making single-ended tube pre and a single-ended solid-state pre. They were top, and then and then balanced tube pre and single-ended.
That's the
balanced tube pre and solid-state tube pre.
I forgot the
name.
Saga
and so the tube preamp. So what happened was the solid-state preamp was not selling. So they decided to cancel it. So they cancelled it. I think they cancelled both solid-state ones.
And then everybody wanted.
No, they found a whole lot of spare. Their factory is getting pretty large now. They found a whole lot of spare stuff for them, so they re-released this limited solid-state pre, balanced. And I thought I should pick one up because sometimes if I want to put decide ever to move the master tin right, do the proper thing where you put it between the speakers and use short speaker cables and use long interconnects, then I would have a more convenient pre. Because you can use it as a power amp more or less. And then what happened was the tube crisis came out, and now they essentially cannot. They're screwed because they were using I think they were using EH tubes or the stuff. The quantities they require of tubes are huge. So. They were like, and all of a sudden they decided that the solid state pre was going into full-time reproduction. So if you want one, it's only like it's not that expensive. If you want, but if you're a tube pre, what they're going to go back to making is their old plug-in solid state tubes, which would literally, they had an option which was a solid state tube. Okay. But I thought what they should do, I suggested to Jason, I don't know if it'll work, a new tube, which is what they're using that DAP, a new tube version. I wonder if they can do that. And I don't know if the specs will work though, because it would have to be 6SN7 kind of compatible, and I don't know if they will work with those.
Yeah, I don't know.
The voltage requirements are nothing. You can power them off a battery, like a normal tube. Yeah. But I don't know if the rest of the specs will work. Or the other thing is you have to damp them. They have to be heavily damped or they ping like crazy. That does not ping. There's no
damp?
tube
What
ping.
do you mean by damped?
Well, what happened is, with a tube, if you tap it, you can hear it go ping, 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 ping.
Ah,
ping.
okay.
Those new tubes if you don't damp them, ring like crazy. Like even if you just move with the headphones plugged in, you hear this ring. Nothing. They put heavy damping underneath them to stop the ringing. So the N8 original had, you could very slightly hear something. And then I had a Korg new tube based thing here which didn't have damping and it rang like a bell. Like literally, I kid you not, you put headphones on, you hear this going off. And if you touch the volume control, it was really, and the guy stopped making them. So, and Korg said, "What? We can do this with a battery powered thing and it doesn't ring. What are you doing?" So that was a bit embarrassing, but they, I don't know if they could do a YouTube based version.
But actually, I found that in Japan there is actually lots of very small companies that are not known actually internationally, like Triad. The name of the company
Triad,
is Triad,
yes.
and they're making lots of tube amp from 6,000 euros, dollars, whatever, to even the cheapest one might be Hachiman Gosen, so it's about $700.
Now be
$800. But it's a very small one.
Yep.
I will not buy this one because it's just to have a tube, but I want something a little bit better probably. But the tube they're using, I think, mostly made in Japan. Especially on the most expensive one. But the tube made in Japan, when you want to replace the tube, it's super expensive. It's really expensive.
Because they have their own brand.
Yeah, they have. I don't know if they have their own brand, but they use tubes.
No, they.
I'm sure there are many specialists about this.
Yeah, I think that Luxman and that brand their own tubes. You can replace it as long as it's the same model of tube.
Man, you can replace. There are many people, switching. They have a.
For the model, it should be. It'll be an existing tube but branded with their own brand, so you should be able to swap it out with something else. I'm pretty sure the one like Luxman tube amp, they use tubes not from their brand. They use from I think it has an American name, but it's a Japanese company. But it sounds like American name. I forgot. Something electric, not General Electric, but something like this. I don't want to say anything stupid, but I would have to. Electro-Harmonics, which is Russian. Is the only one.
No, not Electro-Harmonics.
Not yet.
But
they're restarting up.
But it's not. They're not Luxman tubes.
Production in America. They're starting up Western Electric.
Western Electric.
WE, yeah. They're starting up.
And it's an American company?
Yes.
It's okay.
They're starting up. They do 300B reproduction and they're going to do 6SN7 apparently. But they're horrendously expensive, like 450 a tube or something crazy. I may be completely off, but I remember it was in the hundreds per tube. And so the Studio 6 is sitting over here. So that's 300 a tube to get those Malvards. So you see, the problem is this is best after warmed up for 4 hours. And that's an original WE tube too. Okay. That's an old Mullard metal base. So I've got a couple of them, thankfully. But this is their own adapter, but it's not plugged in. The problem is it's best warmed up for 4 hours. So that's 4 hours more of wear on the tubes. And 4 hours electricity bill. Fantastic. So it's sort of like, okay, well, that was just sitting in place when I was waiting for the...
That's what we used the first time we came with Jeremy.
Yeah, so that's just out of the way while everything's going to rotate. It's going to go back on the top after I do the $500 stuff. Speaking of, where I've just got one amp to go, and then I've got to do the comparison to the other two. But
let's be good. Let's try some headphones.
Indeed.
Let's see what you get for me. What you got for me. So this one, they released them already, or
they're released? Yeah, Lyrics. So they've released some time ago. I'm just waiting for a balanced cable to.
They're pretty nice. Okay. They're pretty nice.
A balanced cable to for running out of other stuff. But they're even single-ended. They actually drive very easily for a kind of largest planar driver. So the other cool thing I have. I'll do one more. So this just arrived. The one that just arrived was the Grell Audio. So, people have asked me to. So, Sennheiser, the guy who designed the HD820s, which I just reviewed, and then he left Sennheiser, it's called Axel Grell, and he made his own brand, Grell Audio. Now, the first thing you're going to do,
Grell Audio?
Grell.
Grell? It just...
Grell, not Grell. Grell. And he's a really, really nice guy. Okay. And anyway, he just made his own TWS in-ear monitors.
Okay.
and they just arrived. So courtesy of Drop, thankfully.
You're going to do an open box thing?
Yeah, I'm going to so literally, so I'm going to do the open box thing and evaluate them. I've got a few, like I've got a pair of Final, the white thing and the black thing left to the left, the TWS, the container, white container. That is literally Final,
okay.
Their latest TWS
okay.
IEMs.
I recognize the Final thing.
And they keep saying, sending me stuff and saying, can you review it? I said, yes, I've actually written notes up everything. I just have to, again, shoot a quick review.
Ah, ils sont beaux, hein? C'est chouette ça.
So, and they're actually nice with classical, sort of too bright for anything else, because bright TWS IEMs, you kind of hear the wireless distortion. Those are Brazilian.
Oh yes, you told me last time.
Brazilian monitors. They are really nice, and I'm way overdue shooting anything about them, but that's as things go.
It's funny. I'm very. I mean, like everybody else, I'm very attached to brands. So when I find a brand I like, so I find Luxman, I love Luxman. So I'm definitely biased.
A lot of people do that. I mean, everyone.
But and Final is getting this way with me. First of all, I love the logo. The logo is really great, and the I don't know, I just like this brand. So
they have a really nice guy who does their PR stuff too, who I talk to a lot. So
people should know, every time I comment about Final, they should just remember that I tend to love this.
Well, it's interesting. Like, you have every brand has its own kind of character, and it's interesting comparing all the headphones. And the problem, of course, is comparing one headphone to another. You get you kind of hear, okay, so it has this fault. But if you listen to the pair of headphones alone, like a pair of D8000 Pro, you think, fantastic, I'm having a great listening time. But if you compare it after listening with others, you start going, okay, that's something that could be better, because this other headphone does something slightly better.
That's the trap, and that's when you end up spending 6,000 euros to buy something.
Lucky I can just borrow this stuff, thankfully, and not bankrupt myself. It's a good thing I'm not into watches. Oh God, no!
Watches, it's crazy. Actually. It's very crazy.
A couple of my friends are. One of my friends is who, he's into watches.
Yeah, why not? To cars.
I like looking at. So, there's about like 1 out of 100 designs go, that's perfect. And I wish that Apple, I like the different watch faces on the Apple Watch and stuff. And it's like, no, I want exactly that on my Apple Watch, and that would be awesome. But yeah, there are a couple of watches that I would actually, if I had ridiculous amounts of money, buy, for whatever, $2,000-3,000 or whatever. I would consider buying them. But 99% is like, okay, that looks like another watch. I don't care.
Watches. I just sorry to finish with watches. I'm not too much like the big brand Rolex and everything. It doesn't do anything for me. Just the only one I really love this watch is Cartier, from Cartier, and they're making these watches for men, and to me it's just perfect. So it's very simple. It's of course mechanical, and the design and everything is just timeless, and it's really the one I really love.
I saw a documentary on a Japanese guy who makes watches. I mean, he started off just pulling apart watches, and then he ends up, and you see him, getting at these minute things and adjusting something and putting it all back together. And he'll do hand-make watches for people. You have to go and specify what you want. Some guy wanted a certain theme or whatever, and he just makes mind-blowingly awesome designs.
You can send all your gear and you won't have even one watch.
Well, this I should do. I should do more videos on this. Do videos on this stuff. So I found two manufacturers in Tokyo. So anyway, someone posted a link to a video of a Korean company that hand builds mountaineering boots. Like hand builds. You go there, they measure your feet, and then a few months later you get a pair of boots. And it shows the whole video of how they make a pair. You start with a whole massive thing of leather, and it's all, the whole thing about it, and it's really fascinating. Then someone posted in the comments, there are a couple of Japanese manufacturers that do this too. And then so I looked them up. And so, handmade pair of shoes would be really awesome. Right. So I think you can do it remotely. Like they send you either the Korean company did a foot cast. Maybe it was like they draw around your feet or something. But usually you go there and you decide which pair you want, and then they measure your feet, and then 2 months, so much time later, weeks or months later, you get a pair of shoes, and they cost $200-300 or something. I can't remember. Expensive, but worth it.
$200-300 for a handmade pair of shoes. Yeah. It's cheap. It's really cheap, I think.
One was like $200-300. The other was about $400-500 or something. I forget.
It's I mean,
yeah, I'd like that because my father was the type of person who'd buy one pair of really high quality pair of shoes and resold them like for the next 30 years. Listen to headphones.
If you want, I can introduce you to a traditional washi maker. It's really interesting to see. I mean,
traditional
washi,
paper.
Washi paper. And actually, I went there, and they are making the warranty cards for audio company, Japanese audio company called Kondo.
Ah, yeah, I know Kondo. Yes.
And I was there. They were just talking, and then they explained, that they have this special paper and they can print it. And then actually printing it was the warranty card for Kondo.
Wow.
I know this company.
How about you try? Did you try these last time?
No, LCD-5?
Yes.
LCD something 5? Yes, yeah. No, I don't think I did.
Let's try 5s because that'll be more interesting than the LCD-X.
Okay.
I think. It's their new design. Somewhat lighter. Now, the thing is, this is the newer headband. They have a newer headband which is slightly wider, so they clamp like a vice, unfortunately.
Okay.
Probably for you, they will. And we need, this is about the same sensitivity as the Stealth.
The same kind of grade.
The
The shape of the cup is interesting, eh? Just
yep.
The slope and like this.
Yep. So you can.
Just my small head.
Oh, you have a narrower head, narrower, longer head, I think.
Nothing bad to say. it's like a trio. It's not like it is like a piano, bass, and drum. It feels very studio-like. I mean, you're really inside the studio, and probably because of the music too. But you can really hear the string of the bass. This metallic when it hits the wood. C'est vachement bien. It's interesting because as I was saying with the Imperial, I'm used to this little boost of warmth, and that's not on here. Here it's much more. I would not say cleaner, but probably I don't know if it's closer to what the reality is. I don't know, but it's. I mean, it's so nice. It's really clean. That's what I would say. But you can really hear the bass right here, the piano right here. A little bit of Bill Evans. You can hear the voice a little bit. Yeah, attends, I'll try with a different song. It's okay?
Yeah, go for it. Anything else will be somewhat louder though.
It's hard because I'm
just note when you jump to the next one, it'll probably be somewhat louder.
Yeah. Lyrics.
Oh, yellow. That's.
No, that's a different world. I should have to do an A to B comparison, but I would say you have more details than on an Imperial, and I really like it. It's really nice. I mean, but of course it's plugged to a many thousand. How
much is that? Good question. What I should suggest you try. Hold on.
Just play that.
Try this. This is probably a good balance, overall balance. It's probably fairly loud as well, I think.
Ok.
Yep.
C'est vachement bon.
I know you like guitar. Music. Yeah, I know you like guitar. So
j'adore ça. C'est super. Last time I'm listening to a band from they're from the Sahara region. Mm-hmm. It sounds a little bit like this, there's this Arabian accent to the music. It's exactly the same kind of music. And I really I love that. But it's definitely. Sorry, it's hard to speak with that. It's definitely I mean, you can really hear the instrument, so you're really inside the studio. I feel like, I want to talk to the musician. Oh, can you do that again? Or, okay. I don't know if it's how to translate that. Probably the amount of details is so much present that it's really a great experience. Majun.
It's a Derek Trucks band.
I take a picture. It's amazing because if you compare with a close the first this one the first the Meze I tried before. I mean it's a different world in terms of the experience you have with music. When you listen to music, it's nice. You haven't nothing really bad to say, but you're listening to a headphone. Here, you're really. It's a direct connection with the musician. Right. Just the intro, so it just
bring them down and forward,
Okay. It's rounder. It's more. That's a closed.
Closed, yeah, completely closed.
Ah oui, there is. Ah oui, really complete. Ah oui.
Down and forward.
Put it that way.
Down and forward is good.
Okay. And forward. Yeah.
Yep.
I could definitely say that this was a closed headphone. This I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. You don't have the same. There's, to be really picky, there is not as much definition, precision like than with the LCD. It's a, I don't know what to say, layback sound with this particular sound. It's a little bit more laid back, I would say.
Yeah, the mid range isn't quite so forward.
Yeah, yes.
The mid range is more forward, so you notice the details in the guitar more.
But bien. Bien. Extraordinaire. Probably, especially on this song, it's lots of guitar. And
the other thing you can do, take them off your head for a moment.
Sorry.
Hold the cups between one hand. Pinch the Now push the headband down. Push down. Both sides.
Ouais. Bravo les mecs.
Yeah, the case is just behind you, I think.
Okay.
The case is still on the table? Yeah, the case is that black thing there. That's the case. And I've got the case for the Meze Liric. Much bit of a size difference. Folding. So they use the Eon folding mechanism, which the cheaper one.
That would be a transportable thing.
Transportable high end.
Definitely.
So
but I'm really impressed by. I hear absolutely no sound coming out of them.
And it doesn't sound like a closed back at all.
Yeah, not at all. That's why I ask you. It's pretty a closed back, but it's definitely more mellow. You know what? I need to spend a full day with each of these.
Yeah, it's like
or
that.
probably a full week, and then to decide, really which one you. I'm impressed by. This one blew me away by the it's always, many people say that, but the guy is playing in front of you. He's just behind the window and
with guitar, because I know you like guitar stuff. That works really well with guitar.
And this one not as much, but it's probably, I don't know. Probably if you have to listen 3 hours of music, or you're working, this one would be less fatiguing, less tired, less not engaging, but this one will be more engaging. But I really like the atmosphere. It's really comfortable, and actually it's very comfortable on the head too. I mean, it just grabs you. Slight. So, really low. Even at low volume, you really, if you concentrate a little bit, you hear a lot of things.
Did I show you a pair of those? Did I show you anything like these before? Do you know I tell you about this? You know what this is? It's called nitinol wire.
No.
It's used in, you know what braces are? You know when you have your bad teeth? Yeah.
Okay. I will not do it because I'm
No. Literally, you have to heat them to like 500-600 degrees before that will deform.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So when he came out with that design, with using nitinol wire, everyone was like, "Why didn't I think of that before?" And then he said the folding cup. Then he did this sort of the design of this kind of design when he did it on the Eons, which is the cheapest of his headphones. I saw at shows manufacturers who have been industry veterans would come up and look at these headphones and go, "That's amazing."
Oh, really?
There were just people, industry veterans, engineers would come up and go, "That's amazing." You know, we're just like, that's awesome.
It's really smart because when you fold it like this, so not only this arm articulation is really clever. This two axes, but they're using the flexibility of the wire to just lock it in place.
Yep.
And
there's two videos. I'll link them to you if I can remember. First is when he was interviewed about these headphones and headphone. The second one is he did a presentation at CanJam recently on the principle of the design. It's very fascinating. Yeah, go for it. Just switch around whichever. And there's also the Elites up there you can try too.
Sorry, I just want to listen to that song again with this one, just to experience the difference. So sorry.
No, go.
Because I'm still have it in my ear, so I like this. It's amazing how it's this. I mean, in terms of quality, you cannot say which one is better. You know, it's not, but how it's different. Okay, and LCD-5. So LCD-5 is like what, 3,000 euros or so, dollars?
4,000 US.
And
4,000 or 4,500? I forgot.
And this one? Sorry, I don't know the name.
Stealth, DCA Stealth. Dan Clark Audio. It used to be called Mr. Speakers, but he's not making speakers, so he switched his name.
That sounds a little bit stupid, but this looks like a mix. It's the which one is the Elite? Looks like a mix of these two headphones, like in between. It really sits in between.
Let's try.
The bass boost is back. Definitely.
Yep.
Je vais écouter, bouge pas. I mean, it's much closer to what I'm used to right now, so definitely. Ils sont bien, hein, ceux-là aussi. Oh.
So stick this on Cobuzz so you can listen to it again.
Need my glasses. It's very interesting. If I had no headphones right now, and I would have to choose between these three, I would take the Elite, because in terms of where I'm right now, that's what I would be looking for. You've got the entertaining sound and then the definition and the precision. Now, since I have like the Empyrean now, I'm leaning more toward my personal taste, toward the LCD, because suddenly it just takes me a step closer to the instrument, and it's probably the experience I'm looking for right now. But the Stealth also is really amazing, and it's a close back, and that's really impressive. It's really impressive. It's funny when I tried this one. I mean, probably the difference, but I felt like I was using my Empyreans. Really, the boom, you hear the bass, and
it's got a bit more of a like mids upper mid.
Probably
mids upper mid is small forward. Okay. So you hear that more
in
your face than you do the Empyreans. It sounds more recessed, so it sounds a bit brighter overall.
Indeed. So those are the two songs you were listening to.
Okay. That's the tube.
Yep, that's the tube glowing there. Should be on tube mode, is it? Yes.
Oui. Attends, je vais en essayer un autre. I try. Let's see this one. Switching from $4,000 to $3,000 to.
Oh, both 4,000. So
both 4,000.
I can't remember 4,000 also.
I don't know if it's a driving thing, but I found a difference between these two much bigger while using the DAP. So this headphone, I really enjoy it with this amp, and with the DAP, I don't know. It's just like a little bit of to me, just dynamic something. Just it's. I don't know. It's because the driving thing, but when I put this LCD here, I'm back to with right now the back to my ears. The background music disappears a little bit. With the LCD, everything goes back there. With this one, on the DAP, just a little disappears a little bit. Too much to my taste, which I didn't experience on the.
They're pretty hard to drive.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, both are fairly hard.
Yeah.
The LCD-5s are somewhere in the middle, but the Stealth are actually pretty. They're like 13 or 16 ohms, which is pretty low. We're getting heading down almost speaker territory, and then I think the sensitivity was a bit low. So.
Yeah, it's subtle, but the I prefer when it's driven by the sound. Definitely.
You definitely notice it even with a fairly powerful player like that. That's in power mode too.
Yeah.
You can also try it out of the M17.
It definitely makes a difference, I think. Here I'm back to something more punchy, back instrument, and you can. Yeah, it's much more punchy.
Yeah, you get desktop levels of kind of power out of that thing, which is pretty amazing.
So probably on this kind of headphones makes a bigger difference that it would make on the LCD-5. Because when I use the LCD-5 on this one, on this DAP, still enjoy it, and it was very 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 lively. But with this headphone, that to me it makes really a difference.
And it's kind of paradoxical because they're like high-end portable, yet they're pretty savage in how revealing they are of the quality of the upstream gear. You don't notice it. Like it seems like you said, the LCD-5 seem more kind of detailed, but it's more the mid-range is more forward, so you hear it more. But the Stealth kind of is more like ruthless in how it's okay. This is how good your gear is. This is how good. This is what you're hearing exactly what's going on there because they've damped out all the pretty much all the resonances there. So that this distortion, apparently, according to Dan Clark, is lower than some audio equipment.
Okay.
So normally, the transducer, the speaker is like got the highest distortion, but he's actually got it like if you go back into the 70s, the level of distortion was much higher in gear. He's actually got it lower than old school electronics. So it's actually we damped it right down. So you do hear way too much. It's like, okay, this is how good your gear is. This is what it's capable of. This is what you can do. You really do hear that. So it really reflects it a lot.
It's interesting though. But of course, it's definitely obvious that we're comparing things. We're not comparing IEMs with a smartphone. It's that's why I'm not used to do these kind of things live or on camera. So I don't want to say bad things about something unless I really don't like it. But
I'd say the disadvantages you have.
It's really interesting to see that even with a very expensive gear and very high quality gear. Everything is you have differences and and you have something you might like, I might like, it might not be the same thing, or even the mood of your day. You might.
But it's also music too, because you hit on a guitar track first with the LCD-5, so you really noticed that, and that really captured you. So that's.
What do you think about DSD?
Well, technically, it's poorer because it kind of it blunts the edges of dynamics in the music. So, like if you have like the edges of notes are blunted by it considerably, so it sounds softer, which some people like, but it's worse technically.
Actually, I because this album, so Elegy from the trio Aliaga, it's a piano, cello, and violin trio. I downloaded it in DSD, and I did some comparison, PCM, DSD. I mean, you just play me the PCM music or I cannot tell the difference like this. But just comparing A to B quickly, I could switch.
Yep.
The DSD was rounder. Actually, I don't know if it sounds more analog, if it's the right term, but that's the idea I would have about analog sound, and I really liked it. I mean,
well, that's the same with like the R2R DACs. It can sound more where we say analog, but if you think analog means like vinyl, and vinyl is technically far worse than digital. So there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I remember going to a manufacturer, and I was listening to his DAC, and we were fiddling around with stuff and talking and chatting and whatever. And then he customized turntable. Got his turntable ring. It sounded like a million times nicer. It's just like, okay, forget the digital. I mean, it was, but technically it's worse. But it's the same with the R2R thing. Between those two dongles, the Luxury&Precision, which is a standard Sigma Delta one, is technically vastly better. It measures fantastically. The Cayin R2R dongle measures terribly, like shockingly bad, but it sounds nicer to listen with. It's the same thing. I mean, there's a vinyl mode in the vinyl mode is on in the R27, but it's very, very subtle. So you actually have vinyl emulation mode on the R27 at the moment, as far as I remember. But
vinyl
the big silver thing. There is a vinyl emulation mode. I think it's switched in at the moment, but I think it's just a digital filter, which I don't know what it does.
Oh, okay.
But it's so subtle. I haven't noticed much of a difference.
I don't. Let's see. I will try this. Like small.
Oh, there's a new Cowboy Junkies. Wow. There's a new Cowboy Junkies album released a week ago or something. Cowboy Junkies is like one of the most famous bands ever. Guilty.
Arctic Monkey, okay, but Cowboy Junkies?
Sweet Jane? You know Sweet Jane? Sweet Jane. No. Cowboy Junkies, Sweet Jane. You probably have heard it.
Well, it's possible that.
It's one of the greatest songs ever.
I just do my little comparison and I will try it.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I'm trying this on classical music. So I don't know. It's very strange. Now right now I don't hear the warmth I was used to on this music, but I hear picture. So it's a trio. It's a trio. I've been listening to a lot recently, and. Probably you can hear the music a little bit.
Yep.
I love that recording. I love that music. I really love it. Stravinsky I just tried with the Stealth and looking at Stealth, and didn't do it for me.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's very it's completely unexpected, but it was. No, it didn't do it for me. With the LCD, for me it's much better. Better. I like it better.
With the Stealth, take your glasses off. Take your glasses off. If you break the seal, it kills it. Kills the bass. You may have killed it. You can't break seal.
I can't. Okay, sorry about that.
I just thought about that. And down and forward. Yep. You break seal, it kills the bass.
Wait. Once you open them.
Yep.
sounds like a plastic, the things we had on the
I forgot you're wearing
Sony
glasses.
Walkman.
Yeah.
Ah oui, c'est incroyable. Ah oui. Leakage.
Leakage kills it.
Ah oui, c'est mieux. I still prefer the LCD-5, but
Yep.
it's just that the piano sounds a little bit metallic. But
Yeah, the mid-range is kind of lighter in that, in the Stealth, and the darker with the LCD-5. So I think you're going to, especially considering you like the Empyreans, you're going to like the LCD-5s possibly better.
The hell of this because they fill the room. You don't even have to put them on. just
Yep, but everyone hears about it.
That's what I was saying to myself when I was listening to this CD actually with the Empyrean. The Empyrean, to me, they're very good on small classical ensemble. Like quatuor, trio, sextet, because they give body to the music. So. And that's what I feel right now. Right now, like very, very quickly, shifting to these 3 headphones. This is where I probably because what I'm used to right now, but this is really the one I prefer. Suddenly, the trio becomes much more full. Yeah, full. And the LCD-5 takes you even more, maybe more to the instrument, but I like what they do too.
Yeah, because they also, compared to the Empyrean, they bring the mids forward as well, so you get that a bit more of the intensity. Not quite what you get with the LCD-5, obviously, but the instrument intensity comes forward better.
Oh, okay.
So it balances better overall, but you get that body which makes everything just sound good.
Okay, so you're telling me that's the one I need. The next one.
Damage your wallet some more. Considerably more.
Yeah, damage my married life. The Trinity session. Sweet Gen. Let's try. Je sais plus. I don't know which one is plugged where. Okay. Do you know the Dead South band? Like bluegrass style. They're Canadian. And I don't know. It's good. It's really good. Sorry, Cowboy Junkies. You can feel the slight recess in bass, and on rock and roll, it's Toto Zadnendes. Bon, c'est bien. So the Dead South, it's bluegrass. A little bit, say punk, but they have some definitely rock, not rock and roll, but punk.
A bit off the wall kind of.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
And I really like them.
I like off the wall stuff.
Yeah.
That was like acoustic off the wall.
Yeah,
stuff.
me too. I like the thing that goes a little bit over. I was a big fan of the Pogs.
Yeah.
Because you got this traditional music, and then they definitely a punk band too. And of course the voice of McGowan, what's his name? The voice of the singer was really it's awesome. And so this actually, I'm going to be super picky. It's almost too much forward on this sound.
Yep.
So I'm becoming now. It has been an hour and a half. I'm becoming super picky, but
I almost 2 hours.
2 hours. That's good stuff. And then I would see on the Super Empyrean, the Elite. C'est génial. That's an LCD-5 on steroid, kind of.
They're the easiest to like.
Yeah,
I find them
probably.
the easiest just to generally, whatever I listen to, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Whereas everything else is like, if I listen to the Stealth alone, I'm fine. If LCD-5s, well, I have to get the other headband because they clamp that. The original headband clamps a bit. That or the Imperial or the Susvaras are the easiest for me to like overall.
Yeah, probably they really all around. Yeah, it seems that like with this Elites all around music, it's it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. The first music I listened was Bill Evans with the LCD. That was the best for like a piano jazz trio.
Yep.
LCD-5, you're like you want to talk to the musician. How can you do that again?
But then you switch to some music which is too forward.
Yeah.
And then they become too forward.
Yeah. On this one, it's like it's
too intense.
Too intense.
That's the problem. The problem with each of these tunings is you get the right combo. It's like, yes, that's fantastic. And then you get something that's too much of one way. Like you get something which has got too much bass on, say, Imperiums. It's like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or the D8000, which were also really bassy, and then it just becomes too crazy.
Just
That's the Pro, I think.
That's the Pro? That's fine. It's fine.
Pro written on the side?
Just that is a Pro.
Because they're switching.
Yeah, Pro edition.
Pro.
The Pro edition.
The 8000, which is floating around here somewhere, it's up on the.
No, I just tried the Pro. I know the Pro is less bassy, but
yep, it's closer to neutral.
C'est vachement bien ça aussi. The overall balance is really great. Yeah, not as many bass on the Elite. Many bass. The bass is not that forward, but I remember, I tried the not the Pro edition before it was
that almost.
And I kind of. I remember I said that the D8000 I thought was a little bit above the Imperium in terms of quality or in terms of experience.
Yep.
And with this specific song, which like the voice of the guy is very mid-range, it's very forward, and it's just like put everything in balance. It's just like, it's good taste. I mean, you have nothing to say. Everything is in place. And it's really it's really nice, really nice. Really
it's not probably a nicer one with that track.
Yeah. With this, I mean now with this specific track, number one and a half.
Yeah.
Definitely. So LCD, much of course LCD is really great and. It's really nice. Really nice gear.
Cool.